Right, years and years and years ago, right, this person that you see in front of you wasn't so much of a good person at all. I was what they'd call a bit of a bad apple. Not too dissimilar to some of the young people that we're seeing on the streets today. I'm sure everyone's seen what's happened in the media and the papers and the press. We had all that situation happening with the riots and etc. Fortunately for me, my path differentiates quite a lot between those young people because I was given a chance, I was given an opportunity. Not everybody closed the door in my face. Organisation called St Giles Trust saw what I was doing whilst I was in custody, which was working with young people and actually developing them, empowering them. And they gave me a chance to set up a project. And I remember at the time when SOS was, you know, a figment of my manager's imagination, but it was something he was trying to go through. I remember a probation officer saying, "Oh, this is absolutely crazy. You're going to take this ex-offender, right, this ex-gang member, yeah, and you're going to employ him, you're going to have him working with other gang members, like, he's going to tell them anything. He's going to tell them when we're going to knock on the door." And funny enough, they didn't realise that the ex-offender was me because I was standing there. And if they did realise that, they might have changed their tact a bit. But what it did do is it awakens me to see how other people perceive me before I'd even been given a shot. And therefore I said, for the first time in my life, I'm going to give something, everything that I have. And at the end of running SOS for the first year, there was no reoffending whatsoever amongst any of the young people I'd worked with. So how's that for progress? And how's that for giving energy and focus? So, what is SOS? SOS is a tailor-made scheme. Why is it tailor-made? Because when I was in custody, I realised that every single person had their own individual reasons for committing offences. And the problem with the prison system, for all of its virtues, it does fall foul of treating everybody the same, tarring everyone with the same blanket. And when somebody has to come out, they find themselves going back to the same area, with the same associations, with the same peers, and often in a much worse off position. You know, criminal records mean that it's harder to gain employment, harder to sign benefits. I mean, I've recently just had to get my car insured, and that's a nightmare if you've got a criminal record. So the idea that I decided to do was to actually work with offenders, train them up. I myself was trained by the Samaritans in my cycle of change, but we decided to give them a proper professional qualification, so they're not just good real hunters with good ideas, they're actually trained ex-offenders. And we set up a system where they mentor other offenders that are inside prison and are coming out of custody, and giving them all that practical support. And if you really want to, you know how much of an impact that makes, you know, all I can say to you is that nothing, no newspaper heading, nothing can actually give you the reality of what prison is like. Because I mean, I've seen young people come out and they're like, "Jay, that was nothing, it was like a hotel room, man, that was easy." And I've seen it in newspapers as well. They sort of like call us lags. I don't know why, but they say, "Oh, like lags have got PlayStations," and all that. The reality is nothing of the sort. And if it was a hotel room, I'd like to stay in a hotel where I could touch the toilet bowl from my bed, where there'd be 3 men, you know, shared between the sides, between this little distance here. You know, yet you get to know each other really well inside. Perspiration and everything, bad habits, snoring, and etc. And so what we do is we provide that tailor-made support, we provide that hands-on support. It's about engaging, we're proactive. We will help somebody get into education, training and employment, and more than just set them up with the interview, we'll accompany them to the interview, we'll get them out, we'll kick them out of bed in the morning if we need to, and we provide them with that ongoing support. Unlike the rest of the system, we're not time bound, so we don't actually have a time limit to work with somebody. We'll work with someone indefinitely for as long as we're funded. And the idea is to really befriend them and to be on that level. And once they realise, like, they can't pull the wool over our eyes, you'd be surprised how quickly these young people take notice of what you're trying to explain to them and see the real thing. You know, in terms of successes, my most prominent success, and this goes to show you that time really doesn't count, because I know at the moment they're sort of like saying, right, all these kids, you know, they're calling them feral children, we're dealing with wild children here, you know, they all need to be locked up. One of the clients, the first client that I took on back in 2006, has just won the Youth Ambassador of the Year award this year, but it's taken him 5 years to get there, and that's 5 years of him constantly coming back, falling out, having challenges, as we all have challenges, going back to what he knows and then coming back to the service. But when the change happens, the change is definite, you know, and that's the critical thing. It's about having long-term positive changes. And all I can say to you is that you may never actually see the results of that money you've raised, because that ripple effect will continue on and on and on. And believe me, I'm not a person who minces my words. I can guarantee you that money reaches every single person that needs it, and none of it is chafed off for staffing costs, whatever it will be for clients. That's just the way I do it. I like complete transparency with my project. I've been building it and I live by it. It's something I believe in, and it's something I give 100% to. So that's me, and I just want to say thanks a lot for what you did. It was really appreciated, and yeah, I'm sure the young people will appreciate it as well.